So in this video, I'm going to seal my my product, and there's a couple of reasons why you might want to seal it. MDF is a fantastic product. It's really strong for what it is. It's absolutely fantastic. However, because of the nature of it, which is essentially compressed sawdust, it is susceptible to soaking up liquid. Now, while the odd drop of water won't harm this in any way whatsoever, if there was enough of it, it would just simply turn to sawdust. So we just want to stop it from absorbing any water. The second reason is we may want to paint this. I'm certainly interested in painting mine. I'm a big fan of the colour purple, as you can tell from my coffee cup. And I don't know if you can't see my speakers, but I love purple. So I'm actually considering painting mine purple. So the first thing I would do is I would perhaps lay some protective layers down, like varnish, and then I'd pop perhaps a nice neutral colour, and then I would do purple over the top. But it would just soak all of those colours up, and if I sealed it first, I could perhaps get away with a couple of coats, but without sealing it first, I might need 5 or more coats. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our PVA, and this is the nice thick PVA, but it's far too thick for what we want to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to dilute it, mix it with water, just ordinary tap water, and we want it so it's a nice runny consistency. So whereas in the previous videos I told you not to use runny PVA because it's just not going to stick very well, we're actually going to make this one runny on purpose. And we don't need tons of glue, tons of water in there, but just keep mixing it down until it becomes, if you do airbrushing, we have a little thing which we call about the consistency of milk, creamy, and that's probably just about getting there. So we want to make a nice thin consistency. Now I'm using an old, well, a cheap paintbrush. I don't want to damage my paintbrushes, but equally if you use a cheap one, as you can see there, I am getting bristles. So that's just something I'm going to have to put up with. And what we're going to do is we're just going to apply very, very thin layers. And we just brush that on. And you see there you've got the white of the PVA. We actually want to brush that out. And you'll be able to see where you've painted, because it will actually change colour a little bit. And what this will do, once it dries, it will create a very thin layer of PVA all over. Okay, and also you may notice I'm getting brush bristle marks. If your PVA is thin enough, it will self-level, so you won't end up with those brush marks. And what I'm essentially doing, I'm keeping the brush in one direction, and I'm brushing it on, and then I'm trying to spread it all out and remove as much as I possibly can. So there we have a bristle, so that can come out. There's another one, and there's another one. I think by the time I finish this, I'll have no bristles left in the brush. And there we go. So just brush it on, keep it as thin as you can, and then see there we've got some dribbles on the side. That's not a problem, we can brush those out. I'm finding it very hard to show you the sides because of the camera angle, and at the moment I'm keeping the back free because I can place that on the table and I won't get any PVA on the actual table. So there we go, that's that side done. So I'm going to have to do this on its side now. So there you go, we spread it out as far as we can, thin layers of thin PVA. fact, if anything, this might be a little bit thick. If you use PVA straight out of the bottle, it would be extremely difficult to spread it around. Because we've thinned it with the water, it's much easier. And there we go, guys. Nice and simple. And of course, if you've got any gaps in the edges there, this will actually help seal them as well. So any areas where things aren't actually sticking properly, this will help. Okay, so we'll just do the last side now. We just spread that out as far as much as we can. Remember, we've been going right up to the edges, so we need, once we've finished, we need to go over this with a dry brush. There we go. And even if you did leave a little bit on, a little bit of PVA, a little bit too thick, don't worry, it will clear dry. And then you can do this in as few or as many stages as you want. You may decide that you don't want to do the inside yet. You may find, as I'm going to do with this one, I'm actually not going to do the back. And the reason I'm not going to do the back is because I can place this on the surface and it won't stick. So, but because I'm leaving the back till last, I'm just going to get these edges. So because I'm not doing the outside back, I will do the inside. So this is obviously a little bit trickier because it's hard to get my hand in, but all we're doing is we're just painting thin layers, and then we're just trying to, it's like we're trying to remove it with the wet brush. So I've got a bit of a problem there with bristles. So as I say, if you use a better brush, you won't get so many bristles, but if you use a better brush, you're damaging a better brush. So it doesn't need to be the best brush, but just bear in mind you may be picking bristles out. And because this is thin, this might dry fairly quickly. I wouldn't say it would be dry within an hour or so, but it will certainly be, well, if you leave it overnight, you know it will be done. There we go. So long as it's all covered, it will all be sealed. So, and obviously the more you've done, the less places you have to hold on to. So, and then once you've done this, you can either go over it again if you feel it needs an extra layer. If you feel it's a little bit rough, maybe just rub a bit of sandpaper over it, or just paint straight over it. I will see what it's like when I've finished. See, I'm just pulling it up. Of course, the advantage I have now, because I'm pulling up, if there are any bristles come off my brush, I will be pulling them up. I think this is a little bit too thick, to be honest with you, so I'm just going to pop a little bit more water in there, not too much. And of course, the thinner you make this, the further it's going to go. So see, it's rather thin. It's a little bit thicker than water. It will always be thicker than water because it's water and PVA, but it's very close to the consistency of water. So there you go, that's going on much better, but it is going on white, so I can see that I need to just keep pulling that off. And then we can do that by starting on the next bit, pull up on this last bit. And it's getting a little bit messy now because I am accidentally catching the bits I have done with my hand. But that's not a problem because PVA is water soluble, so I can just wash my hands afterwards. No special chemicals required. that bit done. There we go. I'll just do that last. I didn't mean to drop it like that. So you may actually want to do the inside first, because that seems to be the trickier bit. So it's going darker because it is actually absorbing some of the liquid, but not as much as if you were, say, using varnish. Varnish will go straight in there, and you just won't get a good result without putting multiple layers on. So I'm struggling to get that bristle. There we go. No, I'm still struggling. Seems the only way I can get the bristles out is to put my finger in and rub it all the way up. Right, so that's that bit done. So we'll just finish off with the inside back. And there we go. So I'm happy with that result. Obviously it doesn't look particularly impressive at the moment because it's still wet. Once it dries, that will be nicely sealed. So if we paint over that, that will take the paint really nice. And of course, if we spill anything on, I mean, we try to be careful obviously, but accidents do happen. You see, like, it's starting to dry fairly quickly, but I would leave that overnight. So once that's dry enough that it's not going to stick to anything, we can obviously flip it over and we can do this side. So I'm going to carry on. I'm going to get these drawers done, and I will show you the final result once it's all dried. So I've allowed my my unit to dry overnight or longer, and as you can see they're nicely sealed. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in another drawer, so it just allows you to see that there is a slight colour difference. These have darkened a little bit, and they have, although MDF isn't the smoothest of products, it has roughened up the edges a little bit, but if you just get yourself some really fine sandpaper, I've actually got some P800. It doesn't need much of a rub, but that will then enable you to paint them if that's what you wanted to do, or to be absolutely honest, I think they look lovely as they are. So let me get you another one. This one hasn't been sealed, but you can now pop a little label on the front, or not, as the case may be. Yeah, and I think these are absolutely fantastic. So so there's the magnets on the top. Obviously if you're going to paint over them, that's going to cover that up, and I think that these are great because you can just customize them as well, because obviously with the painting, I'm actually going to be going for, you guessed it, a purple scheme. So I thought what I would do is, if I take these out, I'll probably paint all of this purple, and then because I've got a grey cutting mat, I'll probably paint these faces grey. I might even go as far as popping a little white lines in there. We'll see how it goes, and then I'll seal that all up nicely with a gloss. Now, because these are just MDF units, when it comes to painting, I haven't begun any painting yet, but I've been doing some research, and watered down craft paint should be absolutely fine. So don't go using your best model paints. I haven't got any to hand, but a little 17 ml bottle will cost you like £2 or £3, whereas you can buy, if you're going for a basic colour, you can buy the big bottles of craft paint. If you use a cheap craft paint, you need to seal it in properly. I don't think this will need priming, but I haven't really played yet. So quick seal with PVA, bit of craft glue on the top. Make sure you seal it in properly. It should do the trick. So yeah, but having said that, I don't take any responsibility for any cock-ups for the painting, simply because I haven't tried it myself. I may try a video myself. We'll see how it goes. If you see a painting video next week, you know it was a success, and if you don't see one, you know that either I didn't get the time to, or it was a complete disaster. So thank you for watching my little series. I hope you got something from it. I'll be honest with you, I hope that EBMA become a more well-known product designer, because I absolutely love these products. Thank you to the viewer who made the original comment. If you remember, I originally put a video out about some units that I'd found, little worktop storage thing, which I will say was very good. It did the job extremely well. Obviously he disagreed with my opinion, and he said give these a go, and yeah, he's created a monster. I currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 13 units at the moment, and I'm expanding, so it's going to get crazy. But yeah, and the great things about these are these being modular. These are between £14 and £24 per unit. I think that's the price of them. Now if you've only got 20 quid, you can buy 1 unit. If you've got 100 quid, you can buy 5 units. If you're mega wealthy, you could just buy all of enough to do your entire work area in one go. I say I'm on my second batch. I bought 1 unit just to see what they were like. I then bought a few more, which enabled me to see. Obviously they give you the dimensions on the website. The problem for me anyway, with the dimensions is they are just literally numbers. It's not until I start to get things and I start to put things into the drawer. Let's see, I want to find something that's too big. So there we go. I can find that's taking the mickey too big actually. There you go. Let's find a third size drawer. So we've got this is the 3 high drawer, so you can get 3 up. So I can pop that in there, and I can see, yeah, that fits. So this would now then perhaps become my drawer for these units. Let's see, I've got a packet. There you go. So I can see there that cocktail sticks don't fit. So then I try them in one of these, and then from that, you know, obviously this is far too wide for the cocktail sticks. So for this, perhaps I'd look at the 2x2 units, which would be half the size. Obviously I'm using silly products that really are a bad example, but for me, it's not till I actually see the product in my hand that I can see the usefulness of it. So I've got this one that I use for my wires. This is my variable power supply wires, and then this one is used for my multimeter wires. Let's see what else we got. The one that's actually got nothing in it at the moment, but this was supposed to be used for my screwdriver bits. So yeah, once you've actually seen the units, you can kind of start to plan a bit better. There you go. This one's quite a handy one. This is my cotton buds. and then I'm after another one for cocktail sticks. So yeah, now I'm starting to plan. I've got pretty much my entire right hand side of my desk done, and I just need another 2, 4, another 10 units should complete the job. So for me, with my budget, that might be perhaps about a month away, and that, unfortunately, it's always the costs that get in the way, isn't it? So yeah, so there you go, guys. There's a sealed unit. It's had a nice coat of PVA on it, and I'm going to get on and paint these. So take care, guys. Bye bye.